In this video, we're getting back to our roots. I'm going to be building an escape room and I'm inviting you along for the ride. Alright guys, so what we've got here is a brand new build. We're going to be breaking this up into weekly episodes or bi-weekly episodes depending on what is actually happening, and getting materials in and getting props made and things like that. But I am inviting you along for the ride. This is pretty much just going to be a build with mainly myself, but you may see other faces popping in and doing odd bits here and there. The game that we're putting in here is going to be Sweeney Todd. And if anybody doesn't want to know any part whatsoever of the game, this is probably a good time to stop watching and never watch any of the episodes. But for anybody else who's out there around the world that's interested in a little bit about what goes into some of the escape rooms and things like that, come along for the ride, see what you think to it. And if you've got any questions, put them in the comments, and we'll do our best to get back to you and answer them best we can. Or if there's anything particular that you'd like to see how it's done, again, put something in the comments. We're pretty new to this, so if you can help us out with it, help us out and put some comments in there. And if you can, give it a subscribe and a bit of a thumbs up. That'd be great. But as with all builds, we have to start somewhere, and with this one, the space that we're working with on the surface in places doesn't look too bad. Unfortunately, one of the worst things about it is the actual floor itself. So unfortunately, there's nothing else. I'm just going to have to crack on by getting all these carpet tiles up, seeing what we're playing with as far as floorboards. I see that a lot have been cut up and butchered quite a bit. So that's where we're going to start off. Well, thanks for joining us. This is our first, I suppose you could call it, purpose recorded build. This one, like I said, it's no great secret. It's Sweeney Todd, and we are building it at Enigma Pontefract. And it's round about now that I'm starting to make the first realization of, hang on a minute, I don't need to take up all these carpet tiles. I've got a cunning plan. It's so cunning, I could put a tail on it and call it a fox. But unfortunately, there are many things with any of the builds that is just an absolute bore. And you will see as the videos go on, and this video goes on probably, you will see there are many of these things that I just think, oh my goodness. Oh, is there an easier way of doing this? And the reality of it is, no, there isn't. I've just got to stop being lazy and pull my finger out and get on with it. And the sooner it's done, the sooner we can get on with doing some cool stuff. But anyway, so just to give you a little bit more of an idea of what it is that I'm actually doing here, I'm starting to put a new opening in the wall, simply because that's where we want the entrance door to the game to be. And you're probably asking, well, why don't you just use the door that you're already using yourselves and keep going in and out of? Well, the door itself that's already there, and the strip of carpet tileless area is going to be a tunnel or some sort of crawlway, and that's going to be part of the game. But we'll get onto that in later videos on how we're building that and why we're doing that and all the rest of it. But for anybody who's into escape games that's out there, it's always something nice when there's a reveal, when it's a little bit of a, oh right, okay, I didn't see that coming, and it's our job to try and provide that reveal or provide that pleasant surprise, because a lot of people play a game and they think, right, okay, what I can see is what it is, this is it, and it's nice to have a little bit of a surprise in there. Now, I'm going to be totally straight with everybody. If you haven't guessed already, or if you can't tell already, I am no builder. I'm no joiner. I'm no bricky, electrician, none of that. So, for goodness sake, don't be following my instructions on how to build. I'm doing this build, or I'm doing a lot of this build, simply because that's how we got started. That's how we got started at Enigma. It was all myself and Claire that did all the build and all the paintwork and everything like that. And with Sweeney Todd being one of our smaller builds, we thought it'd be nice to get back to basics, and also it'd be great content for us for the new channel. So please, whatever you do, don't follow what I do in building, because oh my goodness, that's not going to stand you in good stead. I've definitely been described as a have-a-go hero. But anyway, so a lot of people ask us, how do we come up with the games? Well, it all starts off with an idea of a theme or a setting. And personally, what I tend to do is at that I'll start to look at the space that we've got, and we just lay out what would be cool to be in that setting, what sort of things should be in there, what looks right, what doesn't look right, and then we start to weed them out. And it's down to a couple of reasons why we weed them out. The first one being, is it going to actually fit in the space? Yes or no? Probably not in some of the crazy ideas that we come up with. And then, is it going to fit into actual budget? Now, for anybody who's looking at getting into the escape room game, budget is always going to be king, and you need to keep an eye on it the whole time. Now, that isn't saying that you won't go over budget, because more than likely you will. The brutal honesty of it, you more than likely will. Because as you are building, you can guarantee that somebody on the team or yourself will come up with an absolute storming idea, and you just go, yeah, okay, I can't unsee that, we need to do that now. And you need to be comfortable with, right, okay, is that going to fit into budget, or do we need to lose something else? Me personally, I prefer to stick to the idea as much as possible, and I really struggle with changing that idea once I've got it in my head. But if we do have that amazing idea, then yeah, fair enough. Let's see how it's going to fit. So that's how we start off. We start off by thinking of a theme and a rough idea of what would be in there and what would be cool to happen, and some of the things like that. Then it starts to develop into a layout, an actual floor plan. And I tend to draw everything in basically in longhand. I'll draw it out, pen, paper, rulers, and basically just get my floor plan and just do it like that, rather than using some sort of software or something. I find it much easier to go that way, then laminate it, and then I can doodle all over that as much as I want, and as much as when we're chatting to each other, we can just doodle it in there and go, so how's that going to fit? It doesn't give us much space around this, or it's going to knock into that or knock into the other. So it's, for me, it's a nice easy way. But for some of you kids that are out there that are down with the technology, and as you can tell, I'm down with the kids, I'm sure there's some sort of like SketchUp or some sort of other apps that you'll probably be wanting to use rather than a pen and paper. So that's how it starts for us, and then we go out into the wild and we start looking for things at some of our local haunts, or some of the places that we've been before, like salvage yards, antique shops, all that type of stuff, trying to find things that are going to fit into the theme, that we can hide stuff like the electronics and all the other little bits that create the magic. Now, as you can see, I've mentioned it before, not much of a builder, not much of a joiner, and it's well documented that I've got a touch like a baby elephant. So unfortunately, in taking off stuff like trims and things like that, as nice as I am trying to be, you can guarantee there's going to be a couple of casualties of war, and sure enough, there was in this as well. So I won't be getting to reuse all of the trims. I'm gonna have to sort out some fresh ones for going around the new door opening. Now, do we actually use outside guys and builders and so on like that? And the answer to it is, yeah, we do. If it's something that we just don't do, you know, something that I don't feel confident enough in, or as daft as it is, if it's something that as you're doing it, or as you're looking at it, you're thinking, well, I wonder how much it is that for somebody to do this, you know, that does this day in, day out, such as laying flooring, such as, you know, plastering, things like that. I'll be straight with you. I have done a bit of plastering. It wasn't great. It looked like it was some sort of artexing after I'd finished. But you get an actual plasterer who knows what they're doing, and there's plenty out there that don't know what they're doing. But if you get a good plasterer, they are going to do the amount that would take you a week. They're going to do it in like a morning or an afternoon or a full day at the very most. And it's going to look 1,000 times better than whatever you could do. So it's a false economy. Don't be foolish enough to think that no, it's all right. I'm gonna keep my cost low. I can do this bit. I can do that bit. No. If you can get somebody who can do it better than you in a fraction of the time, that is a good investment, and that's a good way to keep your handle on the actual budget in itself. So what's going to be happening over the next few weeks? We're going to be taking you with us, and it's not all going to be just dismantling and doing demo stuff like what we are today. It's going to be building the new stud walls to hide the actual tunnel, the crawl space. And then we're going to be putting other stuff into it, such as like some screens, some electronics and so on like that. And we're also going to be doing some of the decorating and things. But I'd just like to say thanks very much for giving us a watch. If you can give us a thumbs up and maybe a comment on what we're doing wrong or what you'd like to see or anything like that. And if you can, give it a subscribe, because this is really new to us and we'd love to take you along and show you some more down the road. So thanks very much.